Welcome to back my channel. Coin worth million video is one you want to miss. We're diving into the word of coins top for 5 cents. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. So let's get it started. The 2001 United States of America 5-cent coin, widely recognized as the Jefferson nickel, is one of the most familiar and enduring coins in American history. Featuring a design that pays tribute to one of the nation's founding fathers, President Thomas Jefferson, and his famed estate, introduced originally in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel. The Jefferson nickel remained largely unchanged for decades, and the 2001 version stands as one of the final few years of the classic design before the temporary redesign during the Westward Journey nickel series in 2004 and 2005. The obverse of the 2001 5-cent coin displays the left-facing portrait of Jefferson that was sculpted by Felix Schlag, who won a design competition sponsored by the United States Mint in the late 1930s. Schlag's portrait is known for its simplicity and dignified presentation of Jefferson, and by 2001, this design had become a staple in American coinage. Inscribed to the left of Jefferson's portrait is the national motto, "In God We Trust," which has appeared on United States coinage for over a century, signifying the country's long-standing belief in divine guidance. To the right of the portrait is the word liberty, which, starting in 2000, began to appear in a cursive script based on Jefferson's own handwriting, offering a personalized historical touch. Just after liberty is the year of minting -2001, followed by a mint mark, either P for the Philadelphia Mint or D for the Denver Mint, as these were the two mints that struck circulation coins that year. The San Francisco Mint produced proof versions, marked with an S, intended specifically for collectors. The reverse of the coin showcases Jefferson's famous estate, Monticello, depicted from the front view, with its neoclassical dome and portico symbolizing Jefferson's architectural passion and Enlightenment ideals. Above the Monticello image are the words E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one, a phrase signifying the unity of the various states into one nation. Beneath the building are the inscriptions Monticello, 5 cents, and the United States of America. The design of Monticello is considered both architectural and historical, reflecting Jefferson's brilliance not only as a statesman and president, but also as a scholar and architect. The coin's composition is 75% copper and 25% nickel, a standard alloy used for modern U.S. nickels since 1866, offering durability and resistance to wear with a mass of 5 grams diameter of 21.21 millimeters and a smooth, plain edge. Unlike other coins such as the quarter or dime, which are reeded, the 2001 nickel was minted in extremely high quantities, making it a common but historically significant coin. The Philadelphia Mint produced 774,332,000 pieces, and the Denver Mint struck 563,200,000 coins, resulting in over 1.3 billion nickels combined for general circulation. While the San Francisco Mint contributed a smaller number of high-quality proof strikes for collector sets, the total mintage makes this coin readily available today in circulated condition. Though uncirculated or proof specimens with high grades, such as MS67 or PR70, can fetch premiums among collectors, particularly when certified by grading companies, such as PCG's Professional Coin Grading Service or NGC Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. The design integrity of the 2001 nickel is considered an important chapter in numismatic heritage, not just because of the longevity of the Schlag design, but also because it came just before a notable transition. The Westward Journey nickel series launched in 2004 to commemorate the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition, resulting in temporary design changes that modernized the Jefferson nickel for a new generation. Therefore, the 2001 issue is viewed as one of the final examples of the classic nickel. Historically, the year 2001 in the United States was significant. The economy had entered a period of slowdown after the dot-com bubble burst, and though the catastrophic events of September 11, 2001, occurred later in the year, they marked a turning point in American consciousness, security, and identity. This gives coins minted in 2001 an unintended yet poignant connection to a pivotal moment in history. The Jefferson nickel, though small and often overlooked, holds a mirror to the values and figures the United States venerates. Jefferson's image and Monticello's facade symbolize the Enlightenment thinking, architectural ambition, and democratic ideals at the heart of American identity. For collectors and historians, the 2001 Jefferson nickel is a fascinating artifact, not just for its numismatic attributes, but also for its place in a broader cultural and temporal context. The coins were mass-produced, used in vending machines, everyday purchases, and countless small transactions, anonymous in many respects, yet collectively important as they formed the bedrock of daily economic life. This ubiquity also means that today, nearly every American has handled or seen a 2001 nickel, making it one of the most widely encountered forms of Jefferson's image. Additionally, in the numismatic world, certain rare varieties and errors may exist in 2001 nickels. These include double die obverses or reverses, off-center strikes, and die cracks, all of which are highly valued by error collectors. Jefferson nickel has been studied extensively by hobbyists, with the 2001 edition often sought in brilliant uncirculated rolls, mint sets, or in proof form. The United States mint proof set of 2001, which includes a mirror-like 2001S proof nickel, is a popular collectible, offering enthusiasts a chance to own pristine examples of the year's coinage. The appeal of such sets lies not just in their visual beauty, but in their encapsulation of a year's monetary design in perfect condition. As for the aesthetic qualities, the Jefferson nickel has been praised for its clarity, symmetry, and historical reverence, with its lack of excessive ornamentation, allowing the central themes, Jefferson, Liberty, and Monticello, to remain dominant. In educational environments, the nickel is often used to teach young students about U.S. presidents, currency, and history, with Jefferson's multifaceted contributions as a lawyer, inventor, philosopher, and writer serving as focal points for classroom discussion. The 2001 nickel thus serves as both currency and curriculum, circulating both commerce and knowledge. Furthermore, its relatively unchanged design since 1938 allowed generations of Americans to develop a kind of shared cultural familiarity with Jefferson's visage, which was only temporarily altered in the early 2000s before returning in a refreshed format in 2006 based on a new forward-facing Jefferson portrait by Jamie Franke. Thus, the 2001 coin exists as a snapshot of the closing chapter of one of America's most enduring numismatic eras. In the broader context of coin collecting, even common coins like the 2001 nickel have their place. Building blocks in beginner collections, foundation pieces in typesets, or year-specific collectibles in birth year sets or historical retrospectives. As coins become digital in the modern age, physical coins such as these will increasingly gain nostalgic and historical value, especially as physical currency use declines. In conclusion, the 2001 Jefferson nickel is a deceptively modest but historically rich piece of American currency. It unites art, history, politics, and everyday life in a 5-gram package of metal alloy. Whether tucked away in a change jar, resting in a collector's binder, or preserved in a sealed proof case, it represents the enduring legacy of Jeffersonian ideals and mid-20th century American design. As a transitional coin at the edge of two design eras, minted in a year of both routine and tragedy, the 2001 5-cent coin is far more than a simple denomination. It's a quiet witness to the pulse of a nation, its past achievements, present challenges, and timeless values. Next coin, the 2022 United States $quarter coin, popularly referred to as the 2022 U.S. quarter, marks a significant turning point in the design evolution and numismatic narrative of American coinage. This particular year stands out not only due to its thematic relevance, but also due to the introduction of the American Women Quarters Program, 2025. This federal initiative celebrates the accomplishments and contributions of prominent American women across a broad spectrum of fields ranging from civil rights, science, government, arts, and humanities. It is the first time in U.S. coinage history that such an extensive tribute is paid to female figures on the nation's circulating currency. As a result, the 2022 quarters are not just everyday pieces of legal tender. They are historical tokens of national acknowledgement and cultural affirmation. To fully appreciate the significance of the 2022 quarter-dollar coin, one must first consider the broader historical and political context in which it was introduced. In early 2021, the U.S. Mint, under the direction of the Treasury Department and with input from the Smithsonian Institution's American Women's History Initiative, began selecting women whose legacies merited national commemoration. The selected women were not only historically impactful but also representative of America's rich ethnic, cultural, and geographic diversity. This inclusive approach was integral to the identity of the series, particularly after increasing public calls for broader representation in national symbols. The program was authorized by the Circulating Collectible Coin Redesign Act of 2020, signed into law on January 13, 2021. Each 2022 quarter features a new obverse front design of George Washington, but with a twist. Instead of the familiar 1932 portrait by John Flanagan that had graced quarters for decades, save for minor variations, the 2022 quarters use a new adaptation of a 1931 design by Laura Garden Fraser, a pioneering female sculptor who originally created her rendition of Washington for his bicentennial. Though her design had been highly praised at the time, it was passed over in favor of Flanagan's portrait. Now, nearly a century later, the version shows Washington facing right as opposed to Flanagan's left-facing profile, with a more sculptural and refined facial expression that symbolizes strength, resilience, and dignity. Fraser's inscription simply states, "Liberty, in God we trust." In 2022, the reverse back of the 2022 quarters is where the true diversity shines. Each quarter released that year showcases a different woman, accompanied by symbols relevant to her life and work. There were 5 distinct reverse designs issued in 2022, making each coin both a collectible artifact and a learning tool. The first quarter in the 2022 series honors Maya Angelou, an American author, poet, and civil rights activist best known for her autobiographical works, including I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, designed by Emily Damstra and sculpted by Craig Campbell. The reverse of this coin features Angelou with her arms uplifted, a bird soaring behind her, and rays of sunlight extending from the background. The use of symbolism, the uplifted arms, and the soaring birdies, deeply metaphorical and visually powerful. It captures both Angelou's literary genius and her role as a voice for liberation and self-expression. Notably, Maya Angelou became the first Black woman to appear on a U.S. quarter. The second quarter commemorates Dr. Sally Ride, the first American woman in space. She flew aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger in 1983. The coin, designed by Alana Hagler and sculpted by Phoebe Hemphill, depicts Ride next to a window on the space shuttle. Looking thoughtfully at the Earth, the depiction is intimate yet visionary, showing her not in the grandeur of outer space, but in the contemplative act of observing. Eartha nod to her intellect and her later work in education and science communication. The detail in the engraving, from her flight suit to her expression, tells the story of a trailblazing astronaut who broke gender barriers in one of the most prestigious scientific fields. Next in the series is the Wilma Mankiller Quarter. Was the first female principal chief of the Cherokee Nation and a powerful advocate for Native American rights and community development. The reverse of her coin, designed by Ben Sowards and sculpted by Phoebe Hemphill, shows Mankiller in a traditional dress looking confidently into the future. With the Cherokee Nation's 7-pointed star and a line of symbolic figures behind her, the inscription includes Principal Chief and Cherokee Nation, in the Cherokee syllabaria gesture that underscores the coin's cultural integrity. This quarter, in particular, stands as a testimony to Native representation on national currency. Honoring a leader who elevated Indigenous voices in political and cultural discourse, the fourth, 2022, quarter pays tribute to Nina Otero Warren, a leader in New Mexico's suffrage movement and a lifelong educator and politician. Otero Warren was also the first Latina to run for Congress in the United States. The coin's reverse, designed by Chris Costello and sculpted by Craig Campbell, presents Otero Warren alongside New Mexico desert imagery and the words Voto para la mujer, vote for women, reflecting the bilingual nature of her activism. This piece is particularly notable for weaving Hispanic heritage, women's rights, and early 20th century political activism into a single striking image. Lastly, the fifth 2022 quarter in the series celebrates Anna May Wong, the first Chinese-American movie star in Hollywood. Designed by Emily Damstra and sculpted by John P. McGrath, the coin portrays Wong with her head resting on her hand, surrounded by marquee lights, a classic cinematic motif. The image evokes the style of 1920s and 1930s Hollywood glamour. But with a critical twist, Wang, despite her fame, faced rampant racial discrimination and was often typecast or denied lead roles. Her appearance on the coin symbolizes the overcoming of cultural bias and celebrates the impact of Asian American figures in American popular culture. All 5 coins retain the traditional quarter denomination and specifications: a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, 0.955 inch, a weight of 5.67 grams, and a composition of cupra nickel, an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a core of pure copper. These coins were minted across the 3 major facilities of the U.S. Mint Philadelphia P, Denver D, and San Francisco S, with San Francisco primarily producing proof coins. Circulation strikes bear either the P or D mint marks. While S is found on collector versions, the release of these coins prompted a new wave of interest in numismatics, especially among younger generations and historically underrepresented communities. The 2022 quarters became part of educational curricula, cultural exhibitions, and community discussions about heritage, representation, and the role of women in shaping American history. The coins also prompted an increase in coin collecting among minority groups who saw their identities and histories reflected in tangible form for the first time on U.S. currency. From a technical standpoint, the U.S. Mint employed high die engraving and state-of-the-art laser finishing techniques to bring out the nuances of each design. Advances in minting technology allowed for sharper relief, smoother field surfaces, and more consistent strikes compared to previous decades. Each quarter's reverse design features the inscription United States of America, quarter dollar, and E pluribus unum, alongside the honoree's name. These inscriptions are harmonized aesthetically with the visual elements, so as not to disrupt the composition while remaining legible and dignified. In the aftermarket and collector circles, the 2022 quarters have already begun to gain popularity. Although not rare in terms of mintage, each design saw tens of millions of circulation strikes. Certain variants, like the San Francisco proof quarters, silver proof versions, and errors or die varieties, have become highly desirable. Early reports indicated double die obverses and die cracks on some 2022 Maya Angelou quarters, increasing their value. The Mint also released several collectible proof sets, silver proof sets, and uncirculated coin sets, which included the 2022 quarters in premium. Packaging with certificates of authenticity. The broader philosophical and socio-cultural implications of the 2022 quarters should not be understated. These coins represent a watershed moment in U.S. numismatics, shifting the narrative from monumental, predominantly male-centered figures to a more representative panorama of American heroes. The American Women Quarters program, beginning with the 2022 releases, invites the nation to rethink how public memory is shaped and perpetuated through everyday objects, like coins, as everyday items that pass from hand to hand. Quarters serve not just a transactional purpose, but also a narrative. 1. The 2022 quarters through design, selection, and symbolism perform the important cultural work of educating and reminding the public of stories that were historically sidelined or erased. These coins function as miniature historical documents, each carrying a unique perspective on the American experience. Their circulation ensures that history is not static or hidden in archives, but dynamic and constantly visible. In conclusion, the 2022 United States $quarter coin is far more than a 25-cent piece. It is a small, circular canvas, bearing monumental messages about courage, reppers. Next coined, the 1998 United States of America 5-cent coin, commonly referred to as the 1998 Jefferson nickel, is a small but historically significant component of American coinage that bridges 20th century tradition with late modern numismatic trends struck during the presidency of Bill Clinton, a time marked by strong economic performance, rapid technological advancement, and relatively peaceful international relations. This coin reflects both a continuation of national heritage and a subtle glimpse into changing values and aesthetic preferences. The 5-cent coin had, by this time, maintained the same basic design for 6 decades. Originally introduced in 1938, on the obverso front of the states who authored the Declaration of Independence and served as a powerful symbol of democratic ideals and Enlightenment thinking. The image of Jefferson was designed by Felix Schlag, a German-born American sculptor who won a national design competition in 1938 held by the U.S. Mint. Schlag's portrayal of Jefferson is stoic and dignified, showing the former president with a broad forehead, deep eyes, and prominent nose, with finely detailed hair swept back in a queue. The inscription, "In God We Trust," arcs around the left periphery, while Liberty and the date 1998 appear to the right of Jefferson's profile in cursive scripto, typographical style that was introduced in 1966 as part of a modernization of U.S. coin lettering, replacing the earlier block text. Depending on the mint location, the coin also features a small letter P, Philadelphia, D, Denver, or S, San Francisco, located just below the date, indicating its place of mint. The absence of a mint mark indicates Philadelphia minting for nickels of earlier decades. But by 1998, the PI had become a standard feature. On the reverse or back of the 1998 nickel lies a prominent depiction of Monticello, famous neoclassical plantation estate located in Charlottesville, Virginia. The structure is drawn in detailed neoclassical style, showing its domed rooftop, columned portico, and symmetrical wings. The reverse design also dates back to Felix Schlag's original 1938 concept, though it was slightly modified over the decades for sharper engraving. The word Monticello is printed directly below the building, and beneath that are the words 5 cents and United States of America in all caps. Many one, which is the traditional motto of the United States and reflects the federal union of states into one republic. The entire reverse design is bordered by a raised rim to protect it from wear during circulation. Despite the aging design, the coin still demonstrated sharp engraving, techniques available by the late 20th century. The 1998 Jefferson nickel, like others of its series, has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters and a weight of 5.0 grams. It is composed of cupronickel, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel, with a pure copper core. This composition had been in place since the coinage. Act of 1866 established the nickel as a replacement for the earlier silver half-dime. Composition provides a silver-like color while being cost-effective and resistant to corrosion. Its smooth, plain edge distinguishes it from the reeded edges of dimes, quarters, and half-dollars. While the nickel may seem like a humble coin in terms of face value, its design and circulation history make it an object of national heritage. Over 1.2 billion Jefferson nickels were struck in 1998 across all mints, making it a high mintage year and thereby ensuring that the coin remained ubiquitous in wallets. The Philadelphia Mint P produced approximately 807 million nickels in 1998, while the Denver Mint D struck around 643 million. The San Francisco Mint S, which focuses on proof coinage for collectors, produced about 2.1 million proof coins in mirrored finishes, which are highly valued by collectors for their sharp strike, frosted details, and mirror-like fields. Proof versions of the 1998 nickel were only available in special collector sets sold by the U.S. Mint, and these carry a small but notable premium in the numismatic market. Circulation-grade 1998 nickels are quite common and typically hold little more than face value, unless in uncirculated or high mint state MS condition, particularly MS 6-7 or higher, which are scarce and often require special preservation to maintain luster, strike sharpness, and absence of contact marks. The significance of the 1998 nickel also rests in its place as one of the final coins of the original Jefferson design series before the sweeping changes introduced in the early 2000s. In 2004 and 2005, the U.S. Mint temporarily altered the reverse of the nickel to honor the Lewis and Clark expedition as part of the Westward Journey nickel series, and in 2006 a new forward-facing Jefferson portrait was introduced on the obverse. Thus, the 1998 nickel is part of the last unbroken stretch of Felix Schlag's original obverse and reverse combination of design that had endured. It also captures a late 1990s America still steeped in traditional iconography, before the advent of 21st century aesthetic and historical revisions. Its purchasing power was modest, but still notable, especially in the context of vending machines, public payphones, and small retail purchases. Exact change more accessible. Culturally, the nickel played an unspoken but vital role in American commerce, often overlooked yet indispensable in smoothing the gears of cash-based transactions. Socially, the figure of Jefferson on the coin was both revered and debated by historical awareness around Jefferson's complicated legacy, including his authorship of revolutionary documents, as well as his status as a slaveholder, had grown. Nonetheless, his presence on the coin remained a symbol of intellectual brilliance and foundational governance, reflective of how the U.S. continued to revere its founding fathers despite increasingly complex interpretations of their lives. The enduring imagery of Monticello, with its elegant architectural balance and classical design, also reinforced the ideals of Enlightenment-era rationality, aesthetic discipline, and personal legacy values that Jefferson himself cultivated. From a numismatic standpoint, the 1998 nickel invites various angles of collection. Beyond regular business strikes and proof issues, collectors seek out full steps designations, a grading feature that evaluates the clarity of the steps leading to Monticello's portico. Only the most precisely struck nickels display full, uninterrupted, horizontal lines across these steps. These full steps varieties are rare and highly prized by collectors aiming for top-tier specimens. Coins with full steps often sell at a premium even among MS-65 or MS-66 coins today. The 1998 Jefferson nickel remains one of the most common coins in circulation, often taken for granted, yet it embodies an enormous legacy of U.S. history, economic consistency, and artistic continuity. Though worth only 5 cents in daily commerce, its historical value far exceeds its nominal denomination. It represents a time of national confidence before the turn of the millennium, and encapsulates America's commitment to honoring its foundational figures while still leaving room for future redesign and reinterpretation. For collectors, historians, and citizens alike, the 1998 U.S. 5-cent coin offers not just a piece of metal, but a small, tangible link to the past, a compact portal into the story of the United States, as told through the legacy of Thomas Jefferson and the minting artistry of Felix Schlocknecht's coin.